Hello everyone, and this is Alexander Semenenko, Voronezh, Russia. I'm the candidate of historical sciences. It roughly corresponds to the Western PhD. I've graduated from Voronezh State University, history faculty, chair of archaeology and ancient world history, and my specialization was the history of the Varna system of ancient India. I've been studying the text of Rigveda Samhita since 1993. That's about 27 years. Approximately from 2009 I turned to the problems of the historical interpretation of the Rigveda text, to the problems of earliest Aryans, Rigvedic Aryans, and to the problems how to date Rigveda scientifically, and where to localize, where to place the original homeland of the Aryas. And in these 10 years I have developed my own system of Rigveda dating. It consists of I just can't count exactly, but not less than 20 arguments. There are some very important arguments, some less important, but still they work as a system and mutually corroborate each other. For example, the argument of the fortresses in Rigveda I consider as one of the strongest. One of the strong arguments to date Rigveda is the argument of the substitution of the lion cult of Rigveda by the tiger cult of Atharva Veda, and so on. Today I'd like to present to the English-speaking viewers my recently published e-book, the third volume of my Rigvedic papers. The first two volumes were dedicated to the problem of Rigvedic Ashva, or a swift creature. It deals with the so-called horse argument in Indo-European studies. Before starting this short presentation of the third part of my Rigvedic papers, I'd like to firstly to thank my young daughter Sophia for assisting me and acting as the video operator of this presentation, and I also apologize in advance for making mistakes while presenting my book, because I am not a native English speaker, and I often make mistakes in pronunciation and in words of English language. So let us start. This is please show. This is the title of the book, Rigvedic Papers, Part 3, and it deals with two problems. They are enumerated in the subtitles. The first, what I try to prove, is that Aryans are indigenous in the north-western South Asia. The second is that Rigveda must be dated prior to 2600 BCE. There are 6 chapters in this book, and each chapter deals with one of the newly developed by me argument to localize Aryans in the Sindhu Valley and Sindhu and Saraswati Valley, and to date Rigveda prior to 2600 BC. This dating of Rigveda between 3300 BC and 2600 BC was developed by me personally, following the lines of Nicholas Kazanas and Amal Kiran, Shri Aurobindo Ghosh's disciple. His name was Sethna, and Shri Aurobindo called him Amal Kiran. He was probably one of the first Indian scholars who tried to date Rigveda using the archaeological methods. The second was Nicholas Kazanas from Greece, from Athens, Amilos Cultural Institution, and maybe I'm the third one who followed their steps, but developed my own system of Rigveda dating between 3300 BC and 2600 BC. This means that Rigveda is pre-mature Harappan. That Rigveda Samhita, according to me, according to this dating, was composed in the early Harappa epoch, in the Sindhu and Saraswati valleys. The Saraswati Valley is the valley of the river Sarsuti, Khakra, Hagar, Nara, placed to the east of the Sindhu Valley. And this book presents 6 more arguments developed personally by me in corroboration my previous arguments and the general dating. And all the chapters, 6 arguments, 6 chapters, they are united by, this is the dedication, my usual dedication to my scientific guru, Shri Aurobindo Ghosh, whom I consider the greatest Rigvedologist of human history. I think he is unsurpassed scholar of Rigvedic studies. And each argument, each chapter is united by 2 common elements. The first element is the sources. I used the Rigveda text, the Russian academic translation of Tatyana Yakovlevna Yelizarenkova, and the original transliteration of the Rigveda text published by the Texas University. It is a very well-known transliteration, and it's used by the scientists studying Rigveda all over the world. This is the first element uniting all 6 chapters. The second element is that each chapter presents one more argument supporting the general theory of placing the original homeland of Indo-Aryans in the northwestern South Asia, and of dating the Rigveda Samhita between 3300 and 2600 BC. I won't tell you much about the contents of each chapter. I'd want you to follow my arguments. The first chapter is to follow my illustration. Each chapter has some illustrations after the text. So the first argument is to what do I do? I find in Rigveda the cultural patterns, some symbols of culture, some cultural motifs, which can be traced archaeologically in the archaeology of early Harappa and mature Harappa. Thus, I relate the Rigveda text to the archaeology, to the real archaeological items of materialized culture of the Sindhu and Saraswati valleys. So the first argument is dedicated to the very interesting image, which is which is to be found in the latest part of Rigveda, mandala 10. We have here the expression Vrikshe niyata mimayat gaustato vayach prapatan purushadach. That means that there is a cow which is bound to the tree, to each tree, and from there the birds devouring people fly up. So very interesting image, but what does it mean? We can't say what it means, but we can I have some ideas, but not for this presentation. What can we say? That we have a very complex image here, very complex pattern. It has 4 elements. The first element is cow. The second element is something that the rope, which is used to fix it to the tree. The second element, the tree, and the first element, the birds devouring people. It appeared that this image with the first 3 elements of this pattern, with one little variation, cow is changed to the bull, is one of the most spread drawing patterns on the Kuliware of south eastern Balochistan in the epoch of the mature Harappa. But what is more interesting, that one of the vessels of Nausharo 1D, dated to 2600 to 2500, that is the very first phase of the mature Harappa, we have a very interesting vessel which repeats this Rigvedic pattern with all elements, with one substitution. The cow is substituted by bull. We have the bull. The bull is a humped bull. It is very important for us. The rope. The tree is Ashwatha, or pipal tree, Ficus religiosa, and the bird. It is depicted just above the bull's back. We have a very clear reference to the endemic character of this pattern, because we have 2 endemics of the wild life of South Asia in this drawing. First, it is a humped bull, zebu bull, and the second is Ashwatha tree. Both are very important for the traditional Indian culture, since at least since the last half of the 4th millennium BC. So I just like to show you this. This is the typical vessels of the Kuliware. You see the bull, you see the rope, and you see some kind of a pole. Sometimes we have a tree, as here. The bull, zebu bull, humped bull, the rope, the tree. Let us move. This is Nausharo 1D vessel. We have better representation. This is not this, but only 3 elements: bull, rope, tree. And now about this very Noshara Kuli vessel. Here we have the drawing, and we see all four elements here, all four Rigvedic elements. We see a bird above, flying or placed above the back's bull's back. We have the humped bull, we have the rope, we have the tree, Ashwatha tree. And I found some more vessels, but not in the museums. One is from the museum. It is from Ancient Orient Museum in Tokyo, and it repeats this very same pattern. We have the bull, we have the rope, we have some kind of tree, it looks like a tree, and we have two birds placed or depicted above the bull's back. And we have one more vessel. It is from Barakat Gallery in Great Britain. It should be checked for its scientific nature. Is it a true archaeological item, or maybe it is not? But still, if it is, we have the third vessel, because again we have a bull, we have three birds, we have a rope, and we have some kind of tree, or here we have probably some post or something like that. So, but the motive is clear. The motive is clear. And that's why we can use this motive. Do you show it? Are you showing it? We see this motif very clear in the beginning of the Matthieu Harappa, and this very motif is mentioned in the latest book of Rigveda, which corresponds to the end of the early Harappa and to the start of the Matthieu Harappa. This is the first argument, and you see it is very interesting. Next argument, next chapter. Some more vessels again should be checked for their scientific nature, but still they are here. For example, again, bull, rope, some kind of tree or post, and birds. Edgar L. Owen Limited Gallery, USA. Again, it is designated as Kuli ware vessel. So the second chapter is very interesting because it's called Earthquakes in Rigveda as a criterion of dating and localization. So I know one Russian and Soviet scholar. He's a philosopher by education, but he turned to Rigveda studies. Unfortunately, he is disabled, he is blind, he can't read properly, but still he uses his mind to think, and he thinks deeply, and his name is Maidanov Anatoly Stepanovich. He is the doctor of philosophy, and he is the author, the creator of the earthquake interpretation of Rigveda. He states that following the descriptions of numerous earthquakes in Rigveda, one can state for sure that Rigvedic hymns were composed in a mountainous region with many earthquakes. What he does wrongly, as per me, he places this region in Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, following the Aryan invasion immigration theory. But we know from Rigveda that Rigveda describes only the rivers of the northwestern South Asia, starting from Gamati, Krumu, Kubha, Suvastu, Swat, Sindhu, Sushoma, Vitasta, Asikni, Parushni Ravi, Vipash, Shutudri, Saraswati, Drishadvati, Yamuna, and Ganga. All these rivers are enumerated in Rigveda. That makes us place Rigveda exactly in this region. And when I, of course, this man, Anatoly Maidanov, being a blind person, he was not able to study properly, scientifically, all the references to the earthquakes in all mandalas of Rigveda. I did it. I studied all the references to the earthquakes and got the following picture, the following results. I'm not going to tell you the whole book. In general, altogether, earthquakes are mentioned in Rigveda 89 times, almost 90 times. In the earliest parts of the Samhita, mandalas 2nd to 7 plus 9th mandala, 45 times. In a bit later 8th mandala, 10 times. In still later first mandala, 20 times. And in the latest 10th cycle, 14 times. So, and from these 89 mentions, 55 times earthquakes are mentioned as happened in the past. From them, 25 mentions of the past earthquakes can be found in mandalas 2nd to 7th and 9th, that is in the earliest layer of the Samhita. Then we have 4 references to the past earthquakes in the 8th mandala, 13 references to the past earthquakes in the first mandala, and 12 references to the past earthquakes in the latest 10th mandala. We have also some references depicting earthquakes as contemporary to the authors of Rigveda. We have 34 references altogether in Rigveda of the earthquakes contemporary to the authors of Rigveda. From them, 19 authors are in the earliest mandalas, 10 to 7 and the 9th. Then 6 references in the 8th mandala,